In this video, we are going to learn about prime numbers and prime factorization. So a prime number is a number that is only divisible by 1 and itself. Okay, so for example, the number 7 is prime because its only factors are 1 and 7. There's nothing else that we can multiply to get to 7. Okay? And a composite number is a number that is divisible by other numbers besides 1 and itself. So for example, the number 12 is composite. Yes, it's divisible by 1 and 12, but it is also divisible by 3. It is also divisible by 4. It is also divisible by 2, and it is also divisible by 6. Okay, so there are other numbers that make it composite. You only need 1 in order to prove that it's composite. So you could say 12 is divisible by 2. It's an even number, so it's composite. Okay? And prime factorization. So prime factorization is the multiplication of the prime factors of a number. And I just want to take a second to define factors, because if we're not really clear of what factors are, then it might be a little bit difficult to understand. So a factor is a number that multiplies to get to a number. So I like to think of it like this. A factor times by another factor get us our number. So if we're using 12, our previous example 12 as an example, it has a factor of 2 and a factor of 6. 2 times 6 can get us to 12. We could also write 3 times 4 get us to 12. We can also write 1 times 12 get us to 12, a product of 12. And maybe I should say, instead of number, I should say product. Okay? All right, 20. Is 20 prime or composite? So 20 is composite because it is divisible. Well, it's an even number. It's divisible by 2. So we can say it's divisible by 2, but I'm going to say them all. It is divisible by 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. And is 17 prime or composite? Well, 17 is prime because it has no other factors besides for 1 and 17. Or we could say it is divisible. It is divisible by only 1 and 17. 1 and 17 are its only factors. Now let's go on down to the prime factorization questions. So prime factorization is the multiplication of the prime number. So we want to know what prime number times what prime number times what prime number times what prime number will get us to 84. And our method is a factor tree. Our method to get our prime factorization is a factor tree. So that's the method. It might not say to use a factor tree, and you can use a factor tree to find the prime factorization. So what we're going to do is we are going to start with the number 84. And I'm going to say what times what two factors, what any combination, gets us to 84 by multiplying. I know that 2 goes into 84, so I can do 2 times 42. I know that 4 goes into 84, so I could do 4 times 84. 4 times 21. So I'm going to do that. 4 times 21. You can choose any combination. And we're going to do this until we get all prime numbers. So 4 is not prime, so I'm going to keep going. And 4 is 2 times 2. And once I get a prime number, I'm going to circle it, just so I know I'm done. And 21 is 3 times 7. Okay? So 84 is made up of 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. That is the prime factorization. This part right here is the prime factorization. I like to add that 84 equals 2 part just to be clear that it is going to equal 84. We can also write this one other way. We can write this using exponents, using powers. And I can do this because 2 times 2 is 2 squared. So I can say 2 squared times 3 times 7 to just write it a concise way. Okay? Let's go to the next one. We'll do 400. So I'm going to start out with 400 over here, and we can do any combination. We could do 4 times 100, we could do 2 times 200, we could do 40 times 10. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to start us out with 4 times 100. Okay? And neither one are prime, so we're going to keep going. 4 is 2 times 2, which both are prime. And 100, I'm going to do 10 times 10 because it's the same. And then each branch will actually be the same. We'll do it at the same time. So 10 is 5 times 2. Both of those are prime. And 10 is 5 times 2. Both of them are prime. So 400 is equal to, and I'm going to cross them off as I go. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 4 2s times 5 times 5. We do want them in order from least to greatest, so the 2's come first, then the 5, just to be more organized. And then we can write this using our exponents. So we have 4 of them. So 2 to the 4th power times 5, and there's 2 of them to the 2nd power. And that is our simplified version.